The attack that shook the core of Chirani Dorayi quarters in Kano State. This is a tragedy that is hard to believe up till this moment, but it is a true life story. On the 16th of January 2026, in the afternoon at about 12 noon, this horror occurred in Dorayi quarters, Chirani in Kano State. A young wife, mother of 6, known as Fatima Abubakar, 35 years old, was at home with her kids. Unknown to them, it was going to be their last moment on earth. Nothing prepared this family for the horror that was about to meet them. And while they were in their home, their safe space, suddenly, 3 young men broke in. There was a familiar face, or should I say, there were familiar faces, and so they didn't panic until a brutal attack was launched on them. A sewing machine head was used on her children's skulls. Fatima cried, watching her kids being unalived before her very eyes. She pleaded. She cried, oh, she pleaded. Omar, would you watch them kill us? Please, do not kill my kids. Please, I will explain to you. Please, don't let them kill my kids. She repeatedly pleaded to this person she addressed as Omar. The cries intensified, the pleas intensified as these young men moved from one child to the other until they finally attacked the mother herself. They left that family in the pool of their own blood. Shortly after, the community was alerted by the cries, the noise, the screams. They rushed to the scene, but not before the assailants made away from the crime scene. An alarm was raised. Security agencies got involved and they stormed the crime scene immediately. The family members of the deceased began to get calls. And as they received those calls, they made their way to the crime scene. It was heartbreaking for them to see the horror that was done to theirs, Fatima and her family. It was on a Friday, and so they started moving the bodies and also making arrangements for burial in accordance with Islamic rites. The police had already begun their investigation, seeking accounts from neighbors, what they heard, who they saw, anything that could be of help to the police. And during those investigations, a neighbor of the deceased said she heard the deceased's voice screaming, Omar, would you let them kill us? Please don't let them kill my kids. And that piece of information was going to change everything. Later that night, linking into the next morning, precisely at about 12:40 a.m., the police stormed the residence of the elder brother of Fatima, the deceased, Mr. Awal's home. When they got to his home, at that ungodly hour, they told him they were there for Umar, his son. There was a need for them to search Umar's room, but they told Umar's father that they wouldn't conduct that search without his presence. They needed him to be actively present while they searched Umar's room. And so Umar led the police and his father into his room. The police began their search, and to Umar's father's greatest shock, the police found a black, blood-soaked trouser. Alongside it was a sum of money, a little less 200,000 naira. They also found a brand new dagger, which still had its sticker on it. And they began questioning Umar why his trousers were soaked in blood. He tried to explain it away that it was when he sustained an injury. They asked to see the injury. He pulled off his trousers to show them, but then the police weren't convinced that the injury shown to them was sufficient to have produced that amount of blood that was on the trousers. It was already a signal that something wasn't right. There was a brand new dagger, there was a blood-soaked trouser, and there was a sum of money a little less 200,000 naira. They had everything enough to make them arrest Umar, and so they proceeded and arrested him. Umar's father expressed how cold he felt the moment that trouser was found, because at that moment he questioned if he still recognized Umar as his son that he raised. He immediately knew something wasn't right. The police took Umar in for further questioning, and upon further investigation, he broke and confessed to the police that indeed he was a part of the young men who went into his auntie's home, the younger sister of his father, to launch that brutal attack. In fact, he led them there. Alongside him were another young man known as Isiaku, who happened to be his uncle, a younger brother of his mother, and the other guy was his friend. This news threw the community into further confusion and heartache. Because how do you explain that a nephew conveniently walked into his auntie's home and brutally murdered her in cold blood alongside her 6 children? And despite her pleas for mercy, it fell on deaf ears. Oh, guys, this world is scary. When Umar's mother and father were interviewed by Freedom Radio, They both had something in common to say. They never saw signs that Umar was capable of doing something like this. We are talking of a young man that doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, not involved in social vices that could make him want to do things like this. And so the parents never saw anything that should make them fear that he could do anything like that. Even more disturbing, Umar confessed to a prior crime, a murder of another of his aunts from his mother's side, alongside her children too. Wow. Apparently, he has lost his soul and conscience. As much as this tragic story is very disturbing, it is more disturbing that the motive for this evil is yet known, because Umar is yet to reveal his motive for this cruelty, for the murder he committed before this and this one. It is also alleged that a young girl in his family was also killed earlier and her eyes were gouged out. Even though he is yet to confess to that, but at this point, it's been suspected that he probably had a hand in that as well. All this reveals one thing, that sometimes the enemies we pray against, the enemies we fear, we dread, we pray not to meet, are within our homes, are within our families, are within our circles. But God forbid that we become their victims. May God continue to expose Umar and people like him around us and within our families. This is really sad. May the soul of the deceased rest in peace. And I pray that justice will be very swift in this case. It will be served fully, and it will be seen to have been served. Guys, I would love to know your thoughts concerning this tragic story. Kindly pop them in the comment section. Do you think that the neighbors of the deceased could have done more to have prevented this evil if they had acted promptly? Or do you think they did the right thing by staying put? I would love to know your thoughts, and I would engage as you post them in the comment section. In the meantime, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your emotions, take care of your mental health. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to the people around you, and always stay safe. I remain Dorcas Ige, and I love you guys.